kind of changing gears again and going back to our bailiwick, which is working with CDMOs and outsourcing. Malcolm, let me ask you: you're consulting for smaller companies. You have a background in continuous. Are there CDMOs out there for your small companies to work with? Do you have to teach them how to do it? Are you? Is it a market now that's has pretty much gained optionality for your clients?
I think there is a whole bunch of fairly well-known operations now operating as CDMOs, on US soil. Although one of those has just been gobbled up by a Chinese company, as well as those in India and in China. There are lots of people in Europe as well as some big companies in Europe. But I think, like everything, there is a mixed bag of good and bad out there. And obviously, I'm not going to get into who's good and who's bad, because that wouldn't really be fair. But you probably need to know a wee bit about what you want. Because it's like when you go shopping, if you know what you want, you know what to avoid. Yeah. And the kind of job that I'm doing with CDMOs and generics is I'm teaching them how to develop processes and how to be efficient in the way that they do their process development, and how to select the right reactor, and just basically the ABC of how to do continuous processing. And that's not to say there aren't outfits out there that can do all of that, but I should think that in this marketplace, if you don't know exactly what you want, people will be very keen to be telling you they have a capability that perhaps they don't have. So you need to, I would say, buyer beware, in this environment. And if you need to talk to people who have expertise, by all means, find yourself an external partner that can help you find the right CDMO, right, who can ask the right questions. Not all of them have manufacturing capability. Some of the really big ones do. A lot of them, are more development-based, lab-based. They don't necessarily have the GMP power to back up, any kind of manufacturing. So again, that might be a question. It depends what you need, really.
Very good.
But there is a mixed bag.
Yep. And Michael, same thing. Is there a lot of CDMO capacity out there, as far as you know?
I think there's reasonable capacity out there. I think there's some, years ago, we actually went out and made pitches to companies to, showcase, the value that we saw, the promise of the technology, and attempted to convince a few firms. Some we were able to kind of close the deal, quote unquote, and others just agreed to disagree with us. And so, I think we do find that there's a number out there that are proficient in it, and have the right skill set. But I agree with Malcolm very much. You kind of have to know what you're going in for. You don't really want to just go in with a request and say, hey, we want something to be continuous, without really having any insights into the rationale as to why you would want to pursue it. But I think we've seen a number of firms that have the right, I would say, chemistry, engineering, and analytical technologies and R&D staff to be able to do it. And then obviously they've got to be able to qualify their equipment appropriately and have the proficiency to be able to run it appropriately in that manner. And it may be, mostly based on a specific reaction or unit operation based on the process parameters. But, I think we've seen it in different geographies, as he's mentioned. I think we've seen it, across the globe overall in terms of the proficiency. So there's a good cross section of companies in terms of unit operations and size and scale.